Hey, hello everyone. So this is Love Sharma. So again, we have come up with a new video series. So as you know that I'm talking about Azure tutorial series. So today we have a new topic, Blob Storage. So in this video series, we are going to learn so many new things like what is Blob Storage, what is the type of Blob Storage, and what are the access tiers of Blob Storage. Yes, please do watch the complete video. We are going to learn so many new things. So let's start from blob storage. All right. So see guys, what is the blob storage first? So Azure Blob Storage is a feature of Microsoft Azure. It allows users to store large amount of unstructured data on Microsoft data storage platform. Okay. See, let me tell you in a simplest way what is the blob storage. See, blob storage is a kind of container, you can say, or a bucket. Right? Like if you have any bucket, in that bucket you can put anything for keeping that value stored on some period of time. Like if I tell you in a programming language, you have some temporary store where you keep some data or the database. If we talk about the structure database, so like in the SQL server database, we can save our records, and later on whenever you require you can fetch the data from the database. So the same thing is the this is the blob storage. It is kind of a storage where you can keep your data means you can keep your any text file, you can keep your video file, jpg file, right? And once once you are done with your once you store the data in the storage account, then anytime whenever you require these files in your project or you have to access in your apis, you can directly you can call to this storage account, and in the storage account you have a container, you can fetch the data from container. So this is about the blob storage. And in this case, blob stands for binary large object, which includes objects such as images and multimedia files. As I told you that you know this blob stands for binary large object. Large object means it contains images, multimedia files, any video file, JPG file. Okay, let me tell you the practical scenario, right? Because most of our viewers, they are unable to understand the purpose of blob storage, because still so many people they are trying to migrate towards the cloud services. So let me tell you the real-time example. Like as we work with our on-premise server, like we purchase any hosting server, and whenever you are working on any application at that time, if you have to save user's image or login image, or if you have to keep any text file somewhere, right? So what you do, you just keep that file saved at any physical storage. And if you have to save any image, then you just keep that image, you just save that image or upload that image on your physical server, on your hosting server, and later on whenever it is required in your project, you directly use that physical path, and you can access that image or that text file using that physical server url. Now in this case what happens, cloud azure provides you Azure provides you a facility where you can create a storage account. In that storage account, you can create a container, right? In that container, you can keep any kind of file like video file, image file, JPG file, and then you can, once you keep that file in that storage or container, then later on, whenever you want that file, you want to access that file, you can access that file using the storage account connection string. And using that connection string, you can in your using the .NET API, you can access that blob files in your project. So later on, when we will be working on practical implementation, I will let you know that how can you access the blob files in your project. But as of now, we'll just uh, we'll just talk about the theory part, and later on we'll be working on the practical part. Right. So these are known as unstructured data because they don't follow any particular data model. Yes, this is the unstructured data. See, as you all might have heard about this structured and non-structured data. So basically, unstructured data means that it is not following any data model. Right? I mean, if you upload any file to your storage account in the container, and there is no any structure, there is no any pattern, it will be saved in unordered format. Right. So see, this is a blob storage architecture. You can see that firstly you will have to create a storage account. And what is the storage account? Basically, in order to create the container, firstly you will have to create the storage account, right? And then in the storage account, see, there are number of storage account services in Azure. And but right now we are talking about blob storage. Later on in our coming videos, we will be talking about all the Azure storage account services. But right now we are stick to the blob storage. So see, firstly you have to create this storage account. Then in this storage account, you will have to select the blob storage, because either you have to work on blob storage or the table storage, file storage, or storage queue. So because we have to work on blob storage, then you have to create a container. See, as I told you that one storage account can contain multiple containers, right? So you can create more than one container, A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, multiple containers you can create, and every container can have multiple blob files. So this is a small architecture. As I told you that in the storage account you can create a container, and in the container you can upload any files which is called as blob files. All right. So yes, so now we talk about the type of blobs. As we know that there are three type of blobs. First one is page blobs, block blobs, and append blobs. All right. So let's talk about one by one. So what is the page blob? See, page blobs are used for frequent read and write operations. Every page blob consists of pages of 52 bytes each. The maximum size for page blob is 8 TB. And page blob are used in Azure Virtual Machine, OS, and data disk. Example, virtual hard drive. Basically, page blobs are used for frequent read and write operations. If you have to perform any read and write operation frequently, at that time you will use page blobs. Okay, and its size is up to 8 TB. So whenever we have to work on virtual hard drive, or this type of condition, we have this type of uses cases we have, then we will go for patch blob. Then the next one is block blob. So block blob are used for images, video files. As I told you that any kind of text file, if you want to save, any kind of images if you want to save, then in that scenario you will use a block blob. Each block blob is composed from block of data which can be managed individually. Like see, in the block blob what happens, that your data will be divided, or your data will be saved in blobs. Like there will be a multiple blocks, and in those blocks your data will be saved. Each blob has a maximum size of 4.7 TB. What happens, let's say, if you have a if you have a big file, then this file will be divided among the multiple blocks, right? So internally it creates multiple blocks. Each block has a maximum size of 4.7 TB. So your data is saved in those blocks. That's why it is called as blob. And the last one is append blobs. See, append blobs are similar to blob, but there is a one difference. In the append blob, this blob is used for append operations. Like we know that, as you must have used in your project the log files. Why do we use log files? Because in the log files you update your runtime logs, or whenever any failure happens, whenever any runtime error occurs, so you keep updating your log files, right? Means append operation is there. So whenever you have this type of requirement where you have to perform append operation, when you have to alter the file, you use the append blobs. Now we talk about access tiers. What is access tiers? See, in the blob storage we have a three type of access tiers. The first one is hot tier, second one is cool tier, and third one is archive tier. So let's talk about one by one. The first one is hot tier. So hot tier, online optimized storage for read and write operations. Hot tiers, whenever we create our storage account and then we create a container, at that time you have to select that which tier you have to which tier you have to use. So you can select either hot tier, archive tier, or cool tier as per your uses. So what is hot tier? In the hot tier, it is basically optimized storage for read and write operations, better for storing frequently accessed files and data. In the hot tier, what happens if you have to access your files frequently? I mean, frequently, if you have to access your files and frequently you have to perform the read and write operations, at that time you should use the hot tier. And also it is the part of optimization, because whenever you work with any Azure service you need to keep in your mind about the cost, that how much cost you need to pay for that. On the basis of cost you should take a decision to go with any service. So basically when you choose the hot tier, so there is a highest storage cost and lowest access cost. So if you create any container which contains a hot tier, it means it will have highest storage cost and lowest access cost. Means if you will create a container in the storage account and if it has any files, if that container has any files and if you frequently access that file, then you will have to bear minimum cost, because access cost is very low, but for keeping that file for long period of time it will charge you more cost. So you'll have to keep in your mind. The second one is cool tier. So this is online optimized storage for read and write operation. It is also used for read and write operations. It is used for storing infrequently accessed files. Like previously, when we're talking about hot tier, we were using that type of tier for frequently accessed files. But in this case, it is used for infrequently accessed files. And lowest storage cost and highest access cost. Right? So this works on lowest storage cost, like your storage cost will be low and access cost will be high. Like if you frequently access this data, then you'll have to pay the high access cost. And also it is recommended to store minimum of 30 days. Like you are recommended to store your data for minimum 30 days. The third one is archive tier. So archive tier is basically offline optimized storage, better for storing rarely accessed files. Like if you have any file which you want to keep in this container for long period of time, then you should go for archive tier. It is recommended to store minimum of 180 days. Like as it is recommended that you should keep your files for at least 180 days. Long term backup, secondary backup, and archival dataset. See, this type of here basically used for keeping the backup files. Like we know that whenever we create any app service, any virtual machine, or at that time we keep the backup of that server, or sometimes we also take a backup of our SQL server database. So what is backup? That due to any case, due to anything, if any failure happens, we should not lose our data. We should not lose our data, because if you lose your data, then definitely it will impact on your project. It will impact on your application. So that's why we keep the backup of our important files and data. So in that case, we go for the archive tier. Early deletion or move will cost you the early deletion fees. See, in the archive tier, what happens that if you delete your files early, like if you delete your file before 180 days, then you'll have to bear the cost of your remaining days. If let's say if there is a time of 180 days, so at least you'll have to keep your file in your container for 180 days. If you delete your file in 2 months, let's say in 60 days, then remaining, I mean, for your you'll have to bear the cost for your 120 days. Now it's the time of practical lab. So let's move to the practical lab. Okay, so now we have opened the Azure portal. Let's click on a resource, new resource. Okay, so storage account. All right, so in order to work with Blob Storage account, first you'll have to create a storage account. Okay, so we'll create a storage account. Now, yes, so see, this is a page which says create a storage account. Now you will have to fill couple of fields. The first one is subscription. So you can select your subscription. Resource your, I will select learners your storage account. So you will have to give the name of storage account. Like, let me give the name storage demos account 102. Okay, now you can select the region as per your desire. You can select any region. Right now I will select East US. Okay, now performance. You can select a standard or premium as per your uses. I will keep it default. Redundancy, you can select local, your redundant storage, John. I will keep it the same. Go to next. All right. Yes. See, there is access tier. So from here you can select hot or cool. So right now I will keep it by default. Let's move to next. So this is the networking tab. We'll move to next. Yes. Now this is the data protection tab. Here you can select enable soft delete for container, for file share. So I will keep it the same. Next, this is encryption. So you can select the encryption. Next, you can go to tabs, review. So you can review all the condition what you have met, and now you can click on create. All right. So your storage account is going to create. It will take some time. So just wait for some time. It is taking some time. Deployment is in progress. Will take some time. We'll have to have patience. Okay, now our storage account is ready. We can click on go to resource. Okay, now our storage account is ready. So you can see the left hand side we have a number of services like containers, file shares, queues, tables. So in this video session we'll be talking about containers, but later on, well, in the next video session we'll be talking about the rest of the services. All right, now as I told you, we'll have to create a container. So just click on containers. Now click on the container, give your container name. So I will give the name as container 101. All right, so see, this is the public access level. You can give your container access level as private, blob, or container. If you select the private, then your container files cannot be accessed directly by the URL. If you click on the block anonymous access, then your files will be accessed publicly. So as of now, for just showing you as a practical purpose, I'm keeping it as anonymous access. I click on create. Okay, now our container is ready. So see, as I told you that a storage account can contain multiple containers. So as per your uses, as per your project requirement, you can create multiple containers. But yes, as of now, for a practical purpose, I have created one container, and this is a container 101. So now I have clicked on container 1. Now we are inside in the container 101. Now if you have to, this is the upload button. Okay, let's say if you have to upload any file in this container, so what you will do now, this is the option of selecting a file. We can click on this tab. You can select any file. So I will select this where is cache. This is the text file I have. open. See, this is the advanced option where you can select your blob type. As I told you that we have a three blob type: blob, page blob, append blob. So as per your uses, you can select the blob type, but as of now I will keep it as default. The rest of the things I'm not going to change anything. I will keep it as it is, and I will click on upload. So see, now your file is uploaded in your container. Let's click on this file. So yes, now this is the URL. You can copy this URL and you can paste in the browser. See, so now in this file Reddish cache, there is a YouTube link. I had kept this link in this file Redis cache. So now this file is accessed. You can also keep any image file. Just a minute. Let me see if I have more files in my desktop. Okay. Yes, I have my image. All right. Okay. So I copied this URL. I pasted in the browser. So you see now this, using this URL you can access this file, and this file is being accessed from this Blob Storage account. All right. So I hope you have understood the topic, today's topic, and whatever, I mean, how it works, what is Blob Storage account, what is container. I have I have taught you everything in this video. Still, if you have any confusion, if you have any doubt, please do let me know in my comment section. Definitely I will revert you back on your comment. If you have any query, please do let me know. And also stay tuned with me, because I'm going to create more videos on Azure tutorial, because as per the viewers, I have received so many comments, so many messages from my friends and from my viewers that love, please make more videos on Azure tutorials. So if you want to learn more topics, please do comment on my YouTube channel. Please send your query. If any topic you want to, like, if you want to learn, just write those topic on the comment section, and I will make the video on those topic as well. And yes, if you want to get notified all the time about my new video series, or if I make any videos, if you want to get updated all the time, if you want to get notification of my new video series, then please subscribe to my channel and also click the bell icon, so whenever I upload any video, you can get the notification. Thank you guys, thank you so much. Have a nice day.